Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel in partnership with sharpbetting.co.uk, your home for all your betting tips and expert analysis, not only for boxing but for a multitude of different sports like football, basketball, horse racing, many events. So yeah, please check out the lads at sharpbetting.co.uk in the description below. It's me, Niall, joined by Thomas, and we're reacting to what we've just seen from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, as Martin Bakole and EFE AJAGBA have battled to an intriguing majority draw over 10 rounds in the heavyweight division. And yeah, Thomas, I hope you're well as always. Let's jump straight in. This was a fight that I was looking forward to. A lot of people had a lot of anticipation for this one. Bakole, a lot of questions to answer after that Parker fight. I'm just curious. We were speaking there off camera. The draw has been a kind of, it's a bit of a hot topic, the result of that fight. How did you have it and score that contest?
Well, me personally, I'm not afraid to score even rounds and acknowledge that they could have gone the other way. So my scorecard, and I had like maybe three of those rounds that were even. So my scorecard is a 96-96, which is a weird one, but I'm not a judge, so I don't have to, you know, pick a winner necessarily. Um, but I'm not. I do feel like Bakole uh definitely got a I don't want to say a gift, but the a lot of the judges, two of the judges were quite generous in a few of those rounds that they gave to Bakole, and I think towards the end, um, I mean I had him winning the last three, so maybe a draw isn't as far-fetched as some might think. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I do feel like um, Bakole towards the end, at the very least, like he made it close. I can't say confidently that he won. Um, I can't say confidently that it was a draw even, but I do think that he evened up or came close to evening up the fight.
Yeah, I'd agree with a lot of what you said there. Just watching it, I wasn't really scoring it round by round, but I just thought a Jagba kind of done enough to get a decision. And then you look at people online and the immediate aftermath and the commentator saying it could be a draw. It's one of those fights that I'd need to kind of, and I think a lot of people are going to sit and rewatch that and score it again. I just thought for large parts that it was an underwhelming performance from Martin Bakole compared to what we're used to. He was just too kind of too too stationary. He looked kind of very void of ideas at times and how to close the distance, and cut off the angles. It annoys me when fighters kind of, complain that someone is quote unquote running and are beckoning up the stand in the middle of the ring. That's a sign of a fighter that has, run out of ideas and run out of plans. But yeah, as you say, he did win the last three rounds. I think I agree. When he did step on it and when he did let his hands go, when he caught a Jagba along the ropes, he looked the more likely to get a KO, and he looked like he had a Jagba in trouble. So yeah, I do think he definitely closed the distance down the stretch, and maybe in hindsight, a draw isn't outrageous as it looked at times. So yeah, it is an interesting one. Credit to Jagba as well, in my opinion. He did box well for a lot of periods of that fight, even though it might not have been the most entertaining. He kind of, he did use his athleticism, his speed, his hand speed, and he was light on his feet to kind of expose the shortcomings and the weaknesses of Martin Bakole. But yeah, I'll watch it again. I'm sure a lot of people will watch it again and rescore. But yeah, draw. I don't think many people would have predicted that. So yeah, on to kind of one aspect of the performance of Martin Bakole that I want to get your opinion on, and we were kind of discussing it over text message during the fight, and a lot of people discussing it as well. The shape of Martin Bakole, the physical shape, he seems to be getting bigger. Like it can be one of his biggest kind of assets, his size. You know, he's such a unit and a specimen. But do you think around the 300 pound mark, do you just think he's getting a bit too heavy, and that is affecting his performance, and that's why he didn't kind of push forward more in that fight and assert his aggression like we've seen previously in his career?
Yeah, I definitely think it's a bit too heavy for him. Um, Obviously he was what like closer to 280, like 284, I think it was for the Jared Anderson fight, which was, one of his better performances, if not his best. So I think he would be better suited closer to that weight. Um, Last time out against Parker, he came in at 315, but he was literally just, taking the fight on 2 days' notice, so hard to knock him there. Um, but yeah, I mean, didn't he had a full camp this time around and only came in like 15 pounds lighter. And when you're a big guy, I mean, it's not it's not really a whole lot. Um, so yeah, I don't think that walking around or fighting at 300 pounds is really the best option for him. And as you mentioned, and as we are talking about during text during the fight, um, he seemed to have plenty of moments. I mean, he came on towards the end, but uh, like after round four, the way he just fell off the gas pedal was a little concerning. It's like, you know, what are you doing here? You had all the momentum, and I think he just wanted to take a break and recover a bit. But I perhaps he spent a little bit too much time doing that.
Yeah, again, it's hard to disagree. I think, the 300 pound mark is a bit too heavy. Like you could see it in that fight. It was almost like he was so kind of apprehensive about pushing the pace, and when he could kind of fight in those bursts, it looked like he had a fear of maybe tiring himself out. Um, like I know, as I said, it's one of his greatest assets is his size. He is such a huge specimen, but as you say, his kind of prime weight around 280, 284, like he was against Anderson. That's still a huge, huge man. Like that's still a super heavyweight. So there's no reason why he can't get back down there and excel, and one of his biggest traits is that aggression and the volume that he puts on fighters. So yeah, I do think the way he was at there for this one, I think that's going to limit him in terms of when he can fight in those bursts. Because we did see it in this fight, when he had those kind of spells and he had a AJAGBA on the ropes and letting his hands go, how effective he was. But yeah, he just looked afraid to me to kind of exert himself too much. Even his corner was surprised that fifth round, I believe, where he didn't do anything, and his corner was stunned at how little he done and why he took the round off. But yeah, it's an interesting one. Just a quick one before we go. We normally discuss what's next for the winner. It's very rare we get draws, so it's hard to discuss. Kind of, we don't have time to get into what's next for both men, but I just want to quickly kind of get your opinion on FA Jagba. Bakole was a big favourite coming in here, and a Jagba, quite people would say he was kind of hard done by not to get the win there. But what do you see as the future for Jagba? Who would you like to see him in with next?
I would like to see a rematch. I think that Bakole, made it just close enough to uh leave some doubt as to who might be the definitive winner the next time around. Like I think perhaps if he came in better shape, he could have won that fight and possibly gotten a Jagba out of there. I felt like there's plenty of moments in that fight where a Jagba was just kind of languishing on the ropes and was getting, was letting Bakole pound on him. And I have to think that if Bakole, in a rematch, perhaps took the matchup more seriously, and prepared better than he could have turned that draw into a W. So I would like to see a rematch, but I was very impressed by Jogba though. I thought that Bakole was going to win handily, and he, I mean, he boxed tremendously. Jogba did. So, um, if he doesn't rematch Bakole, I would like to see him against any of the top guys, really. Like AJAGBA, for example. I would have liked to see the winner of this fight KBO anyway. Um, so yeah, maybe that or a rematch.
Yeah, I thought exactly the same. Cabiel for me was lined up for the winner of this one. And I thought it'd be Bakole as well. But yeah, rematch for me kind of has to happen. Bakole, as you say, getting in better shape, could make it more decisive a win this time. And AJAGBA really impressed me. Again, it's probably the most impressive I've been with him during parts of that fight with his footwork and his hand speed and his counter punching. I know Bakole has limitations, but I thought AJAGBA boxed really well. So yeah, I wouldn't be kind of against seeing a rematch, and I think it makes sense after. A draw. It just makes sense that they run it back. So hopefully we get to see it again. But yeah, that's all we have time for on this one. It's myself and Thomas reacting to what we've just seen from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, as Martin Bakole and FA Jagba have battled to a majority draw over 10 rounds in the heavyweight division. Yeah, a result not many people expected, but it was an intriguing fight. Let us know what you think in the comments. How did you score? Most importantly, very controversial scoring and opinions. Who did you have winning it? Who would win a rematch? And yeah, what's the ceiling for both of these guys? Can they kind of push on towards the upper echelons of the heavyweight division? Yeah, as always, please drop a like on the video, subscribe to our YouTube channel at ESBR Boxing, follow us on all social media, and check out the lads at sharpbetting.co.uk in the description below. Thomas, until next time, take care.
Likewise, thank you.